Alright. Alrighty. Time to go live. Haven't done this in 2 months, so gotta make sure it's booting up okay. Alright. Let's get this link going on YouTube. Lots and lots of spoilers today. Alright, let's make an announcement to the Discord. Grab the link. Share. Boom, boom. Join me for my first ever work stream! Yeah! Alright, I think that should do it. Cool. I think we're live. 1, 2. Alright, now we got concurrent viewers. Hello everyone, how's it going? That shut up really fast. Hey guys, how's it going? Craft My Life spoilers today. Oh, my delay's on like... Well, let me see how many seconds. I haven't streamed... I mean, this is the second time I've ever streamed, so I'm still figuring some things out. So I apologize if the quality's bad or whatever. But I've got cool tech like I had in the All Hands meet where I can swap between scenes. Oh, I didn't even scale myself right. Here, let me... Should I make myself bigger? Should I make myself take up the whole screen so you guys can't see anything I'm doing? No, I'm not gonna do that. Oh wait, no, it's too big for me to shrink now. Okay, I gotta go over there. Alrighty. That's a comfy spot, I would say. Nope, same haircut. Not a new haircut. Okay, so today, for all of you watching, I'll be working on some Craft My Life things, and I'm in the suit because yesterday, or 2 days ago now, Thomas posted a picture with him in a suit and said that the suit wars have begun. So I had no choice but to put on the suit and stream to prove my my dominance, that my suit is better, and that I'm the true Lord Business, and no one else can take that title. But yeah, so today I'll be working on some Craft My Life stuff. I think I have it set up to where it shouldn't... Let me see. Yeah, you guys can't see my file path. Okay. No one's gonna hack me today. So the first thing I need to do, which I was working on a little bit yesterday, but I forgot to save my progress, so I gotta do it again, is I have to convert our characters onto a newer version of our rig that doesn't have UV problems on the side of the face. So as you can see here, this is a new rig that Finn's been developing for Craft My Life for the last 5 or so months now. The bulk of it happened in the last 3 months. The last couple months have just been a couple of bug fixes. But there was some issues with the UVs on the side of the face, where they get all squashed like that. But in the latest version, we have where it's gotten fixed. So, and I will be releasing this rig whenever the pilot comes out with a tutorial video. So I'll have all that prepared for when the pilot releases. I'll have a video showcasing our rig that we're using for Craft My Life, some of the processes that we have. But it's a really fancy add-on, and all you have to do is click, boom, import rig. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to, like, go into file, append, go to a collection. You just open it up with N, boom, go to Squared Media Rig UI, import rig, boom, got another rig. I want another rig, boom, got another rig. So that's super handy. Yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff that I'm going to introduce you guys to. And yeah. I gotta learn how to balance looking at the chat and also working on stuff. Are we using a new rig? Yes. Got a question about Blender animation. How can I animate for a table or a chair? In order to animate, you'll see me do this a little bit later in the stream, but what you want to do is you have an object, and this is your timeline. This is where all of your keyframes are. Oh, I'm blocking the 0. I'll scoot over. Actually, what if I scoot over to this side? Would that be better? I don't think there's a lot in the properties tab that you guys really need to worry about. I think the fun stuff is over in this area. Okay, I'll sit over on the right side. I think that'll be better for the stream. I think Blender Guru does his tutorials on the right side too. Yeah, in order to animate, all you gotta do is go to the timeline down here, have something selected, and you press I, and what that does is it sets a keyframe. Now, I should have auto keying on, which I'll turn that off for this example, but I can press I. Oh, I gotta go to a different one. And Normally it'll have a pop-up where it asks me if I want location, rotation, and scale. It'll give me all these options when I press I. In this case, I have all my keyframes set to location and rotation, and you go to a different point on the timeline, you move your character a little bit, you press I again, so that's another keyframe, and then the computer fills in the blanks and moves the character for you. So that's like the base of animation. So if that helps for animating like a table or a chair or something like that that you wanted to do in Blender, hope that helps. All right, so reading the chat a little bit here. Squared Academy tutorials. I'm going to make a bunch and I'm going to release them all at once. So that way you guys have a bunch of stuff to work on right away. So I'm not releasing one and then being like, yeah, I'm going to make another tutorial. And then I get behind with Craft My Life stuff and then I need to work on that and then I don't make another tutorial. So instead of releasing one and then leaving you guys high and dry, I'm going to have like 4 or 5 ready before I start releasing on that channel. My plan is to start recording this month. I have the content, the actual content for Squared Academy has been planned. I have my first like 10 videos that I want to do on a Google Doc with all the points and whatnot. I just had to sit down and record them. And the tough thing about tutorials is that I like to walk through them once myself and kind of just go through it with a dry run, just figure out where all the kinks are going to be, things that take longer or harder than I thought they were. And then I go through it again the next time actually recording, so I'm more familiar with the process and I know what things I encountered right away, so I'm not sitting there like, what, huh? Why am I getting an error here? Hold on. And then I spend 5 minutes trying to figure it out. So, and that's just a preparation thing. That's just the way I like doing things. But when I do start releasing on Squared Academy, which I won't give you guys a timeline for that, but I'm going to be recording sometime in July. So maybe August. I'm going to shoot for the end of the summer, but we'll see. No promises. Hopefully before the end of the year, though. But again, no promises. I'm not going to make any promises until videos are on the channel, ready to go public. Otherwise, I'm not going to give you guys a timeline. We're working on, well, I say we, Mont and his team are working on a Songs of War spinoff right now. I show new things on the rig? Yeah, sure. Since I'm just getting these set up, let me go ahead and get the skins on these rigs real quick, and then I'll show you some of the new features. And actually, by doing so, you'll get to see some of the new features. So, for one, instead of having to go over to a material tab, all of your operations are handled in the Squared Media UI, where there's the rig, where you can mess with the rig stuff right here. The skin, stuff like eyebrow settings, all that's right here instead of in the materials tab. And then there's some extra functions like IK snapping to FK, all that stuff. If I want the second layer in the viewport, which I will be turning on for skins like this. So, like having her second layer. I like to see it. There's just a lot of optimization things that we've done for this rig. So, I mean, there's just, it's really awesome. Finn did an amazing job. But yeah, let me go ahead and put skins on all of these. Excuse me. Just had some Jersey Mikes for lunch. So I might be a little burpy. Isn't that what those things are called in gym where they make you like jump up, do a jumping jack, get down, do a push up, and then isn't that called a burpee? I haven't done those in like a decade since high school gym freshman year. I was supposed to take freshman college gym, but we had COVID and I didn't sign up for any of those classes. And then I dropped out to run Squared Media, so I never had to do college physical education. So it's been a long time since I've done a burpee. All right, so this one is going to be Steve. And this one here is going to be Matt. And then I'll turn on second layer. No, that's in the functions. Functions is more of the optimizations tab. Another thing that you'll see is retargeting and show Mixamo rig. You'll see that we have some very basic mocap functionality that we're working with. So if I do have a mocap set just sitting beside my desk that's been chilling there for a long time. I haven't invested the time into doing stuff with it yet, but when I start needing some backgrounds stuff for characters, then I will probably work with that. So yeah, we have a really cool integration with the Mixamo rig, which is, it comes from the perception neuron, or works with the perception neuron motion capture set. And I need to copy over some settings. So very conveniently, I can just compare these to these. We'll start with the eyebrow settings. And this is the fun part of animation. By that I mean the super tedious part. I want to make sure all my colors are correct. And I can just click and drag, click and drag. I should do a skin designing tutorial. Well, I, for one, am a terrible skin designer, and that's why I have people design my skins for me. So I'm not the person to make a skin design tutorial. I can give feedback on skins. Like, I was the one who's like, hey, Matt should be in some kind of a suit, maybe some khaki pants. I think Alex should try having like a little shawl around her for just to break up her costume a little bit more, because just a green blouse is a little bit bland, you know, just trying to give ideas for the stuff. Feather was the one that gave more of the input on Elena, where a little bit more of a goth kind of look. But she's also an ender, so it works out very in line with her the rest of her character, it being purple and black and stuff. So I think her design turned out great with like the jeans with the chain and the little chest piece. And then you had the basic boy. You have Steve just in a sweatshirt and jeans. Yeah, Feather would be the person to do a tutorial on that. And my vision for Squared Academy too, and I'll mention this right away, is that I would love to have multiple people come and work on that channel. Or I'm just like, hey Feather, you're really good at skin design. Go make a tutorial for me, and then we'll post. Well, of course, it won't be like that where it's like you have to make a tutorial. But I'll be like, hey, it would really be awesome to expand some other people's horizons that I'm not good at, but a skill you're good at, and teach people. So I'll be doing the animation stuff, the directing stuff. I have like a million thoughts to share on how I'm directing things. And when I get into the layout that I'm about to get to, once I'm done setting up these characters, you guys will get to hear my thought process, like me thinking out loud as I'm going through and I'm laying out shots. But I'm not good at everything. Like I'm not capable of making this rig. This is why I hired Finn to help me with this rig. Drink water, stay pure. And there's other things like skin design, where Feather's really good at that. There's things like lighting and rendering, where maybe someone on the team like Mont or Michael is a little better at it than I am, and they might be more qualified to teach it, or I might get their input so I can teach it myself. So Squared Academy is not just going to be like my brain on the channel. It's going to be lots of brains teaching you guys for free. So that's my vision for it anyways. So that's part of why I'm so excited for it. All right, let's get to copying over some stuff. This is the part that gets really slow and tedious, so I apologize if it's not the most entertaining. Oh, I need some music, don't I? I don't have any music. Okay, next work stream, which I'll do later this week, by the way, so stick around for that. I'll get some epidemic sounds, some epic beats from that to have going in the background. All right, I'm gonna check chat one more time, then I'm gonna lock in. Oh yeah, and then Mark, he's very good at music stuff, and he's been teaching me a little bit about FL Studio, so getting someone like him to help teach music would be excellent. Okay, I'm closing down the chat for the time being. You guys get to watch me stare at the screen and copy a bunch of values over for now. Although I'll try my best to yap during that time. Oh, okay, so I can talk about this. So one of the things for the females is, upper right is I wanted to do something a little bit different for their eyes. If you notice, I have the eyes, of course they're the 2 pixel eyes, and the guys have the 1.5 pixel eyes. But notice how their mouths are actually a lot smaller than the guys on the default. And that's because in Craft My Life, he's got his little smirk going. In Craft My Life, I'm actually going to have an animation style rule where the females' mouths can't go further than their eyes. Typically. There will be cases where we have like super exaggerated expressions, but for the most part, I just think that having a smaller mouth on the Minecraft girls, I think that's just, it feels more, I don't know. I mean, I just feel like it feels more feminine. And then for the guys, having like a broader mouth, I think that design choice is much more like, oh, I'm going to complain about everything. You know, just, I don't know, something about that just feels right to me. So that's one thing that you'll notice in Craft My Life is that the girls have a lot smaller mouths that tend to stay in this little range. And then the guys will be like, ah, business, super big. So, yeah, one thing to watch out for. All right, right eye, I think I already copied that value. Right upper, oop. Nice thing is I only have to copy these values for one side, and then I can just click and drag it over to the other one. Oh, the other one that I totally glazed over because I'm just used to it by now is every character is going to have bicolored eyes. I just thought that was a cool thing. Skyfall! Welcome to the stream. That's the most rad awesome director, guys. It's Skyfall. In his words. Alright, I need to find out. Eye settings. So these are both at negative. I guess I should just go one by one. Okay, -1, -0.1. Drag that over, drag that over. Advanced eye settings. This is probably what I need. Boom. Boom. 11.7. 1.7.5, offset 9.5. Okay. That's good. Layer settings are correct. Those are the same. Now I go up to, I already did the eyebrow. Then face configurator. All right, this one's going to take a minute. Face height 3, face height 4. So this needs to be 3. Actually, I think this one rounds. Yeah, 2.75. Don't worry, it'll all get fixed in a moment. I know that. Is that where the UV stretching is coming from? Is the face height? I was trying to solve this the other day. I think it looks... Let me see if that's squishing on the... That's what it is! Alright. I was trying to solve this yesterday and I couldn't figure it out. Alright, that's what I need to tell Finn. Okay, so you guys actually just watched me fix something or find a bug real time. So what's happening here is when I'm adjusting the face height, it's scrunching down the UVs on the face. And this could have been how Finn designed it intentionally, but there is a bug where when the face is moving down, you can see there's this pixel right here that just slowly gets crushed and overridden by this pixel. So this face height needs to only affect the front of the face and needs to not affect the UVs on the side of the face. And that's where the bug is. I was playing around with this for like an hour yesterday trying to find this bug and I couldn't find it. Oh, hold on. Is my face in the way of the squared media mark thing? Is that better? There we go. Because when people watch this video back, they'll see a watermark. And you guys might see it now. There we go. I don't want to be blocked by my logo. Okay. So what that means is that there's nothing more that can be done. I submit a bug report, and we just go over to layout. So that's a win for you guys, because you get to see layout sooner. And you get to hear some voices.
Hopefully Mr. Becker doesn't give us too much homework today.
Nah, he's not like that. He might give us a little, but nothing too crazy.
Speaking of Mr. Becker, where is he?
That probably needs to be.
Speaking of Mr. Becker, where is he?
That's strange. Mr. Becker's never late.
Then I will have Alex be over here.
Never late.
So my FPS is currently at about 27, and I'm on a 3090 Ti. So should not be at 27, which means I need to start optimizing. So right now I have the full set visible. This should be a section. The hallway should be a, whoopsies. The hallway should be a section. G is right next to H. So I already have the library hidden for some optimization purposes. I pop that on. You see that's a chunk right there. There's lots of custom models and lighting and whatnot in it. Boom. But since we're just animating in the one scene right now, I'll hide that. It's important to also check this little monitor thing, because that actually is what saves a lot of the viewport disable and viewports where it's globally disable. And this one's just hide in the viewport versus this one's disable in the viewport. And basically that's telling the computer to, rather than just hide it from view, it's still existing in the viewport. This one, it's not calculating anything in the viewport related to that scene. So whenever you're doing stuff, it's important to also turn on that monitor, which you can enable by going to the restriction toggles and clicking on the little monitor, which I think is off by default. I don't know why, but always have that on. Little animation tip. You'll learn all this when I make a tutorial someday. All right, environment, we can turn all that off. We just need to isolate this classroom.
That's strange.
And as you can see,
Mr.
we're already running at 30 FPS. So, problem solved.
That's strange. Mr. Becker.
The rig, I think it's Blender 4.3 and up, or 4.0 and up in general. I think it was developed in 4.0. So you will be needing the latest versions of Blender in order to run it. Yeah, I have a 3090 Ti. I bought it, so I have a story about that. I bought my 3090 Ti when it was $1,100, right before the 40 series came out. And then the 40 series came out, and everyone's like, wow, this is crap. And a month later, my GPU that I bought at $1,100 was worth $1,700. That was the lowest it's ever been in market history. And I don't even know if the 3090 Ti will this. If I go to, let's see here. I can just open a tab over here. Let me see what the 3090 Ti is worth right now. 3090 Ti. Okay, it's about, it's back down to, oh no, this is just the 3090. Okay, 3090 Ti looks like it's $1,300. It's gotten cheaper again. Doesn't have all the new AI stuff that the 40 series has, so probably fell off a bit. Same reason why the 10 series fell off after the 20 series came out, is it didn't have the ray tracing capabilities. But yeah, it's still not at the price that I bought it at. So in fulfilling my title of Lord Business, I got the best deal possible on my graphics card.
That's strange. Mr. Becker's never late.
What's this?
Do I plan on buying the 50 series? I don't have a need. My 3090 Ti does everything I need it to, as far as rendering and whatnot. So mostly we'll just stay with 3090 Ti. And I mean, I'm rendering fast enough. I'm at a point in Blender where we optimize really well, so there's not really a need for anything higher. Someday in the future I'll probably upgrade, but I mean, why spend $1,000, $2,000 on a brand new graphics card when I can pay $2,000 to animators to make a scene come out faster, right? So that's a consideration that I'm always thinking about with the business, is where is every penny best spent? And I don't think that spending it on a graphics card is a good use of the money.
Mr. Becker's
What's this?
never late.
What's this?
So she'll be...
Mr. Becker's never late. Never late.
What's this?
So she'll probably pick up something around there.
Becker's never late.
We'll set to linear.
Brain's never late.
What's this?
I'm not doing the actual body motions yet. First I do positioning, and then I go through and I do my body motions pass. So for instance, in this scene here,
Hopefully Mr. Becker doesn't give us too much homework today.
Steve will obviously be like, hopefully Mr. Beck's like reaching back, grabbing his head. But in order to just get a feel for the entire layout first, what I want to do is I want to go through and just have the positions and very basic poses for the characters, just describing what I'm going to do for the layout. And then I go back, then I do a passive block out with all the key poses that I want, and then from there I hand it off to the animators. So that's basically the workflow that we're working with here, is just do the bare minimum first, get an idea of what we want to do, and then go from there.
Little, but nothing too crazy. Give us a
Oh, and then I didn't have a keyframe on her over here. And just little things like this where, little considerations like this where like Alex never sits down. She'll just be maybe prepping some books by the side of her desk when she's talking to Steve. Make sure she's in the shot. So like in the shot here.
little, but not like that. Nah, he's not like that.
Nah, he's not like that. She'll turn and look at Steve, maybe a little bit, but nothing crazy. And then Matt is in the background strategically, so that way I can cut to him, maybe looking off to the side, kind of like that. Maybe a little obscured by Alex. Might want to move Alex over just a tad here, so that we can see Matt looking off to the side. Speaking of Mr. Becker, or maybe Matt can start like down here. And the shot, speaking of Mr. Becker, so we see his lips. Speaking of Mr. Becker, where is he? And then I don't have to animate that, him speaking those words. And then the shot obviously has Mr. Becker's desk over there, centered on it, so that we can tell that's where he's looking at.
That's strange.
That's strange. So Steve will be looking off this way. Mr. Becker's never late. He'll get up in his seat, kind of like, aw, look out the door. And then as he's looking out the door, it'll cut back to here. He's looking out the door. And as we see him looking out the door, we'll see in the background Alex walking up to introduce our next idea.
What's this?
What's this? There's a piece of paper that's going to be on the desk here. She's also very short.
Becker's never late.
What's this?
Mr. Becker's never late.
What's this?
So an important thing that I'm trying to consider with directing is making sure that all of your ideas flow together really well. For instance, as I've been showing you here, how Steve looks back, but I have Alex doing this in the background. Matt's going to have a line, but right now he's in the background, but your brain still registers him there as somebody that it could cut to. And then like Steve looking backwards, but then wanting to transition to Alex next. So it's just all kind of, it's like a game of trying to weave it all together.
Today, a special task I've prepared.
And then in this case, to represent a note that we'll have, let's give a little plane. Just drop a little plane there. So it'll be a piece of paper with a riddle on it. Maybe not that big. I don't think 8x11s are that disproportionate. Okay, that looks like an 8x11.
Come and find me if you dare. Put your thinking to the test.
And my reasoning for this is twofold. So at first, we're going to have a close-up of Alex.
Today, a special task I've prepared. Come and find me if you dare.
Just kind of reading it off.
Find me if you dare. Put your thinking.
And then there'll be this over-the-shoulder shot of her. So that way we can actually see the contents of the letter for ourselves. I'll just do that.
Test, and from your homework you shall rest.
And then we'll have this shot here, which the reasoning I'm doing this is to save the animator's time, because I need to have the other characters come in behind her. And I think the shot should probably be maybe a little bit more like, well, maybe a little further back. Again, Alex is very short. But this lets the characters walk up behind her, and by the time we get to this shot, they're all basically behind her. And that way I can cheat and do less work. And we like doing less work. So then I can go back one, set a bunch of keyframes here, then grab Elena and move her. Let me set auto keyframe on as well. Oh, yeah, bendy wrists, guys. I forgot to mention, we got bendy wrists now. Kind of a big deal. Whee! Look at that. Now I can make people go like, ah. Ta-da! Yeah, bendy wrists is cool. That's a feature that I was like, I think it's about time. I think we've gone without bendy wrists for long enough. That's one of those features that I don't think takes away from our feel of still being pretty true to the stiffness of Minecraft characters, but adds a little extra flavor. Sometimes you just want a character to be grabbing onto something or to be sitting on a table, but you just need that extra little bend just to give it some extra flavor. So, all right, let me check the chat. Oh, we're losing viewership. I'm doing a bad job. No, that's okay. I don't really care. This is for everyone's education and enjoyment. It's not about views. Where do you get all the models? Do you make them? It's a combination. So there's a lot of people that have made them on the internet for free. The Boxscape Studios, or the BSS rig, is the one that has a lot of the base materials, like all the blocks in Minecraft, all the mobs in Minecraft. That's a great place to start. For the rigs themselves, that's something that is proprietary to us, that I've paid a rigger to model for us. And little things like this, like these little boxes on the desks themselves, the chairs, these little posters, that's all stuff that Thomas worked on and that he designed. And that's going to be present all throughout Craft My Life. Is we start with the Minecraft build, and then we take it into Blender, and then we use textures, we use block textures, and we model some custom things like blocks and little trinkets on the side. Sometimes we just straight up have pumpkins and potions and stuff on the wall. But we try to be creative with it and go a little bit further than just Minecraft would. So like, for instance, these books right here, those two books that are sitting on top of each other, that's actually just a player head used as a decoration. So there's a lot of clever ways of doing it. So like this red one here got textured. These blue and green ones didn't get textured. But there's not really a need because they're so far in the background that they do the job that they're meant to do. So stuff like this is blue concrete. Stretched a little bit, but no one really cares. Just gives a little bit of texture. Blue concrete on the chair, gray concrete on the bottom here, or maybe that's stone. That actually looks like stone. Little monitor here, that's just a flat screen, and then some, I don't even know what block this is from. This is just an image texture, a low-res image texture slapped on there. But from a distance, you don't need crazy high quality. You just need it to represent what you're trying to get to. And same with like the maps of the USA. Canonically, Craft My Life takes place in Monroe, North Carolina, so at least an area designed after Monroe, North Carolina, which is south of Charlotte. Or it's like southeast? Yeah, southeast of Charlotte, because the school itself is based off of where I went to high school. And let me see if I got the whole school in this one. Okay, I got part of the school. But the entire school design is based off of my high school that I actually went to. So, like, if you walk in the door, obviously, this all got cut off because I'm not using it. But in the following scenes, we'll go down this hall. But down that hall, there was like a gym, there's the cafeteria. Down here, this is all almost one-to-one with my school. There's actually a, we called this room the fish bowl that you can't see, but we literally made it like a fish tank on the walls, which is really cool. This was the principal's office. The nurse's office was through here. So you got like the nurse's office, you got little potions and whatnot. Got a little, yeah, here's the infirmary beds. These are some nice beds. We had really crappy cots, but you know what? Everything in Minecraft can be made better. So we did. And then this was our trophy wall. Or what was this? I don't know. It had some trophies and stuff on it. But it was some kind of wall with like trophies and stuff. And then this split off into two. So there was a wall down that way, and the counselor's office was right there. You walk down here. So a lot of this I just did based off of memory, and some off of Google Maps, and we tried our best. But the school design itself, this hallway is actually way too wide, but we'll go back and fix that. I think we already did? Maybe not. I don't know. But this one, the area that we'll be seeing in this scene is all contained in this hallway. So this staircase up here, as you can see, there's some under construction signs. This led up to the second floor, which is where I had my my English classes, my calculus classes, and this hallway here. I didn't have many classes in this hallway because this was I think this hallway and upstairs was more of the IT department. I was in the engineering department in my high school, but this was the library. And then down this hall, there was a bunch of different classrooms. I did take English 4 in this hallway, though. I think this was actually technically my English 4 class, or the same location of it. But this is Mr. Becker's class in Craft My Life. And then we have a parking lot right out here, which also got chopped off because we're not using it. But yeah, we have the road go along here so cars can drive back and get into the parking lot. I think this is actually... No, sorry, the road's back here for them to get into the parking lot. That's the sidewalk. But yeah, again, all of this was based off of the real high school that I went to. And that's why it really holds a special place in my heart, is because I can look at this. I can go back. I would love to go back to my high school someday and be like, hey guys, look, Central Academy in Craft My Life, Central Academy of Technology and Arts in real life. Look, it's your high school. It's in Craft My Life. That would be awesome. But yeah, there's a few modifications that we made. There's a giant stadium of a spoiler sport that isn't in this blend file that I'll be working on later, but I should probably get back to work. So, or I'll check the chat, then I'll get back to work. Is this Squared Media's take on a high school roleplay? Not quite. It's got a story. It's got like an adventure story to it. But I guess you could say some elements are a little bit like a high school roleplay. Who knows my last name? Someone said, hi, Mr. Bliven. I'm not used to being called that. I'm usually referred to as Matt or Lord Business or Matt Squared. I have a lot of names. Or Mr. Squared. My roommate, when he invited me to his graduation party in college, wrote it to Mr. Squared. My sisters, on my latest birthday, wrote Happy Birthday, Lord Business on my birthday cookie. I can't escape them. Okay. Our school, well, I think I over-exaggerated the build a little bit. It only fit 700 people. The school I was actually zoned for was over 2,000. So it was like a medium-sized high school. At least for the area I was in. I'm in a pretty big suburban area. Okay, back to work. No more distractions.
Rest. You shall rest.
I need all the characters to come in behind her now. From your homework, you shall rest. Another thing that I've done is I have a gamer mouse. Oh, there we go. So I have all these like little buttons on the side, and I've assigned 2 of them to snap back and forth between keyframes. So I can very quickly select something and go boom, 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 boom with my mouse. And I've set Q and E to jump forward 1 frame. So those are my hotkeys for bouncing around and doing layout really fast. Just as a little tip, little fun fact. And for my camera movement, I'm using Shift F. Should I turn on screencast keys? Do I have screencast keys? So you guys can see what I'm doing. Oh, I do have it on. Do I just not have it turned on? Aha! Okay. I can make that a little smaller. That's a little less atrocious. As long as it's not blocking my view. Alright, now you guys can see what I'm doing. Cool! Alright. That's what I'll have on during my tutorials too, so you guys won't get lost when I'm like... Because a lot of times I'll be doing random things like Control R, A, S, S, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Alright, let me undo all that, because I probably scaled her by accident. Okay. Okay. Let's move her over here. Get her a little closer there. Get Steve. He's... Oh. Selected here. Yeah, we really need some music, don't we? Wonder if I can just do this. Let me go on epidemic sound real quick. I'll find something for the background for you guys. Epidemic sound. We'll get something nice and chill. I don't know my... Can I just log in with Google, please? Please? Is this the right account? Nope. 30-day free trial. Wrong account. Alright, let's try this account. Yes, that's the correct account. Wait. Start a free trial? That's not the right account. Which one did I have Epidemic on? This one? Nope. What about this one? Oh! Oh, it keeps logging me in with the wrong email. That's what it's doing. Oh, it's because I'm not logged out. I'm silly. Log out. Continue with Google. I think it's this one. Okay, guys, it'll all be worth it in the end. Get some sick beats to listen to. Nope, not that account either. It's not this next one. I'm going to give up. Aha! It was this one. Okay. Am I able to make it to where... You guys hear this? Let me check. Oh, you can, I think. Excellent. Alright, so I don't have to have that tab open and you guys can hear the epidemic music. Alright, we're just going to click on a genre and we're going to go for it. We're going to say... Chill fantasy. Get some nice fantasy vibes. And we're just going to go down the list. We're just going to leave it. Alright, let me check audio levels. I can probably turn that down a little bit. And we're just going to go down the list. I'm going to mute it for a second. Alright, let me check audio levels. I can probably turn that down a little bit. Nice. Alright, that sounds pretty good. I'll turn this back on. Stop saying Black Plasma Studios. We left that name like 2 years ago now. They got renamed because of the leadership change. I am now Lord Business of Squared Media. I'll probably turn this down a tiny bit. Turn it down on my end and turn it up on your guys' end. There we go. That's probably good. Does the music sound good at that level, guys? How did my family react that I dropped out and became the CEO? They did not like it at first because they were helping me pay for college, and then they were like, why would you not consult us about this? And I definitely should have consulted them about it first. But I was kind of like, yep, I had this opportunity come up, I'm dropping out, and they were like... So there was a lot of tension caused by my stupidity and not communicating, so always communicate with people that are helping you out financially before you make big life decisions, but it all worked out in the end. I moved out permanently, was on my own paycheck, and then they were like, oh, okay, yeah, he's doing fine. Now they're happy for me. What advice would I give to someone starting out and making a Minecraft animation YouTube channel? Animate, animate, animate. Publish, publish, publish. That's one thing that we need to do more, is we need to publish more. We need to, don't worry about perfection as much as getting something out. Every single animation that you make is not going to be your best. None of them will ever be your best because you're a lifetime learner. It's one of our core principles at Squared Media that Mark and I came up with the other day, or the other week. So we're really leaning into those. But just make stuff and post it to YouTube. There's nothing else you can do. You just be learning all the time, be making all the time, and that's... Everyone's going to have their own style, everyone's going to have their own interests, so just be doing stuff. That's really all you got to do. And once you've been doing stuff for a while, then people can help you out and give you advice on what maybe you could be doing better. But if you're not doing stuff, then people can't give you any feedback. So that's why I tell people, don't just spend all day planning. Actually go out and do stuff. Figure out how you're going to do stuff. And, yeah, just go for it. That's my advice. Sully, are you trolling my chat? Yep, you are, of course. I think I just heard him say "nuh-uh" in the other room. By the way, Sully is my my temporary roommate, guys. He lives in the room, well, yeah, basically lives in the room right next door for the next month or so. So I can very muted hear him through my door. Alright. Gotta lock back in. See, I have to find the balance of streaming between entertaining chatter and actually getting work done. So I'm sure that'll be a balance that's discovered over time. Matt's the tallest, so we'll have him be in the back, kind of like right here. Does everyone need to be visible? Do I just do this shot a little sideways so we can see people? Yeah, I think this is good. So what we do is we do that. We have Steve be a little closer. And since Matt was in the far back of the room, we have him be the most backwards. I did not set keyframes for Matt on the... no, yes I did. Never mind. Let me make sure everything's set. So I'm not worried about animating them walking up right now. I'll do that on my next pass. But my big thing now is composition, so we'll do that. Hey guys, what's this? Today a special task I prepared. Come and find me if you
the
dare.
test, and
Think
from
to
your
test.
homework you shall rest.
Maybe cut back a little bit later.
Shall rest. You shall rest.
And I had this little pause in the actual lines
Rest.
for the reason of Alex stopping, kind of looking one way, looking the other, seeing that there's friends around her, being aware of her surroundings, then getting back to reading.
Here is your first hint of 3. I am Becker, and so is she. Seek her out where books are free. Find my other, and you'll find me.
And this is an opportunity, so this is where some creative direction can come in. And this is where we're getting into me explaining my thought process with how I'm going to direct this show. So there's a couple of solutions here. One thing that you want to worry about in animation, I could do this one of two ways. I can just leave this shot right here.
Here is your first hint of 3. I am Becker, and so is she.
And she can just be
Seek
reading
her
this
out
off.
where books are free. Find my other, and you'll find me.
The other thing I can do is, in this section here, since that's what, 200, that's about 7 seconds, I can have a different scene pop up where I'm animating it as if Mr. Becker is speaking and presenting. I don't really know how to explain it, but you guys know in shows how sometimes that they'll be explaining something, it'll be like an imagination sequence. I can have it be like maybe fade into Mr. Becker, like talking. Alex is still talking, but have his mouth moving. Here's your first hint of 3. I am Becker, and so is she. And then like have his hands go out, and then we see what Mrs. Becker looks like. Find my other, and you'll find me, you know, and then it fades back into Alex. So we get to see Mr. Becker for the first time because we haven't seen him in this episode. So we get an idea of who we're looking for, which the audience doesn't know yet. We get an idea of Mrs. Becker, who we're also looking for, who the audience doesn't know. But it's still Alex reading, but she's reading as if she's Mr. Becker. So that's like next level of thinking as a show director that you got to be considering is how do I communicate visually what my story is trying to tell and make it fit into the show without being disruptive. And typically you can do that during times like this where it's a little bit slower and there's not a lot going on other than someone just yapping about something. Especially in this case, since this riddle is fairly long. It takes us, what, from 30 seconds to
I think
39 to get all the way through. 9 seconds is a long time in a show.
here is your first.
Wait, no, sorry, not 9 seconds. 19 seconds. That's a long time in a show.
I think this is our assignment today.
Then we cut back to this. I think this is our assignment for today. And then she could be all excited looking around at them.
He wants us to come find him.
And then he wants us to come find him.
He wants us to come find him.
That's going to be addressed to the class. So we're going to get a wide shot of the rest of the class. And you're not supposed to go completely 180 around a character. So at the end of this shot, we'll have her turn a little bit this way. And then that way, when we have the shot right here, as she's addressing the class, which we might do at a wider focal length. And sometimes you just gotta look around for where the best possible shot is. So maybe something like this, where we get to see all the other students in the classroom. We can strategically set them up so they're not blocking everyone, maybe a little bit higher of a shot. What in the world? This is not fantasy music. Hold on. Epidemic sound. I want more like this first one. Find similar. I just listen to all these. How do I do that? Find similar. Boom. Boom. Oh, I can just click on the track. There we go. Relaxing and elegant. That's how this one's described. Then we have sentimental, elegant, elegant, glamorous, dark, dreamy. Okay, this sad, peaceful. I don't want dark. Wait, they're all turning dark after like 3 songs. I need a new genre. Music. Let's do film. You'll probably recognize some of these from Squared Media stuff. Alright, there we go. Epidemic sound, everyone. This is a dragon egg that lost its texture. Interesting. Alright.
He wants us to come find him.
So at this point, I do need to probably communicate her turning around, but I also should probably just import rigs. Which I can do very easily with our new shiny Squared Media Rig UI, where I can just, boom, import rig. And then I need to undo that because I need to have the right selection, or the right collection selected. 1, boom, 2, boom, 3. Alright, then they're all going to spawn right in the middle. That's not right. There we go. Ta-da! There we go, we've got our rigs now. So I can go to the camera, slow that down a bit, Shift S, selection to cursor. Over here. S, selection to cursor. Oop, unselected it. Whoopsies. Shift S, selection to cursor. Then we do that. Since these are our school students, we'll probably scale them by 0.9. The actual Craft My Life characters themselves. the actual Craft My Life characters, okay, note to self, don't scale up by 9. The characters themselves have specific scales that they're at. I think Matt's at 0.93, Steve's at 0.9, Elena's at like 0.9 as well, and Alex is like 0.85. So I do have them canonically different heights. I think Matt is 6'3", Steve is 6 foot, Elena's 5'11", and Alex is like 5'5", 5'6", something like that. So we can make one of these guys smaller. There will be a Chicken Jackie in Craft My Life, so he'll be in there somewhere, but I won't include him just yet in the shot. Then we need some skins. I need some default skins. Let's see. Can I just rip some random Patreon skins real quick? Directors. Okay, that's the Patreon rework. Shared drive. Patreon skins. Oh, this has everyone. Alright, I'll grab Spielies for now. I'll get, I'm just grabbing the first ones I see. I'll get Tank Breaker. I'll get TW Quarry. These are all subject to change, but they'll work for this. I go to my handy dandy skin selector. What is this? Okay. I go to my latest downloads. TW Quarry. We'll go ahead and layer O2 viewport. The reason why we don't have it on is by default you can't see the face with the pink skin. But I like to turn it on every single time anyways. We'll have Tank Breaker. Then we'll have Spieli. You know, guys, Spieli is like the hero that Squared Media doesn't deserve, but the hero that we need. He does so much behind the scenes, and he has for forever. I mean, he's done stuff with the wiki, he does a lot of stuff with the bots. He's a Netherite Patreon for crying out loud. It's $250 a month. So not only does he give money to the channel, he gives his time to the channel, and he's a very intelligent guy. Like, he solves a lot of problems for us. He's a moderator. So, like I said, he's the hero that we don't deserve. But certainly a hero that we desperately need. Alright. So he'll be our demo character here for now. So over the course of the shot, we'll have more people filing in. I just need to remember that these 4 are where the main characters are going to sit. And the rest of the chairs can be occupied by other people, and not everyone needs to occupy every chair. So we'll have him here. And then just have Tank be here.
Mr. Becker's
And rest. 3. I am Becker and so is she. Seek her. Find. This is our assignment today. He wants us to come find him. He's somewhere in the school.
I think having him be up at the front would probably be better compositionally. Maybe like here. And having... I'll have him at the side of his desk. Either that or like back there. I don't know, it doesn't matter. If I did my shot like this though, that could certainly help a little bit. another thing too is when I change the shot, I want to make sure that Alex is on the right side, because when I cut, that's where the viewer's eye is going to be. So we want her to consistently be in the same spot on the frame. So if I'm looking, my eyeballs are right here, then I cut, and then my eyeballs see Alex right there, so it actually probably needs to be a little bit more like this. Sorry, other way around. A little more like that. And I think this is bad for composition, so let's move him back one. You don't need every single character to fully be in frame to communicate the idea that you're going for. So just having someone on the side here gives us the impression that there's more people off to the side of the camera. It makes the room feel more crowded. So all just little things, all little considerations that are going through my mind as I'm laying out shots. What in the world? What is this cut? Oh, okay, their keyframes are not where they should be. And that's because Steve's rig is still selected. All right. There we go. Got that cleaned up. Maybe have the shot be more like this. And when you're thinking about poster shots for your series as well, that's another thing to consider, is when are all the characters going to be in a frame? And with a shot like this where all of them are in frame and Alex has got her thing up, I really want to be conscious of what the character personalities are, because people are going to take screenshots of something like this when they see, oh yeah, what's the Craft My Life cast? And you're going to want to get a picture where all four of them are in the shot, right? When you're talking about Craft My Life. So this will probably be a shot that a lot of people are screen capping, and I want to make sure that the poses that the characters are in are capturing their personalities. So with Matt, maybe just like a hand on his shoulder like this, looking down. Steve probably just more kind of sulking with his shoulders down, looking at it. Elena probably a little more invested, and then Alex like, ooh, reading it with her eyebrows up. So just, I mean, every single little detail you can obsess over. And then even for stuff like this, because all the characters are right here, this is what I love about animation. You get to cheat. So in this shot, as long as these four characters are generally in this position, if I wanted to go over here and then say, all right, Elena's a little bit too crowded onto Alex, I can just boop, move her to the side a little bit more. If I say, all right, Matt's a little too obscuring, I can just boop, knock him off to the side, maybe a little bit forward. And then Steve, same with Steve, boom, boom. He's the one that's actually blocking Alex. Boom. And then with Alex, I can move her root backwards. So we have this shot and this, and you wouldn't know the difference because they're all in the same order. You'd think, oh, that's just all these guys from a different perspective. Nope, that I moved them all. I kept them in line, but I very strategically made it to where Alex can turn around and grab her head, please, thank you, and talk to everyone. And it feel natural. That's another thing that we have on this rig, is what's called inherent rotation. So whenever we're working with the body, we found that it's a lot easier to have the head not move, and we control the movement of the head to where it's always like we can just have someone lean in and look at someone versus having to do that, which then normally the head would be down here and then we'd have to move the head up. So we added that as a feature in the rig, and that's probably one of the main changes that we made. Because, I mean, just look how good this looks. You don't have her head bending down with her body, because normally it would look like this, but without inherent rotation, or with inherent rotation, one of the two, her head stays at the same location no matter how her body's moving. This music got really epic all of a sudden. Turn it down a tiny bit. Yeah, that's just... As I'm going through, there's some very practical applications of the changes that we made for the new rig that I'll be explaining, and me going on stream and actually encountering these and thinking of explaining them to you guys is helping me make sure I'm including what I need to include in the tutorial. So, yeah. Alright, I'll take a little chat break for a second here. Wait, I gotta look all professional when I'm going through chat. Alright. So, chat, what questions do you have for me? Matt's super tall. I'm 6'4" in real life. I'll probably just stick to Epidemic for music stuff, since that's just easy. I have a really big selection. I use Blender. This is Blender for making my animations. We have a tutorial for battle. We don't have a tutorial for animation yet, but we will fairly soon. I talked about that a little bit earlier in stream, where I'll be recording that. My plan is to record that in July. I will not make any promises on when it's coming out, but I want to have multiple videos ready to go when I do start releasing. So that way you guys have a lot to chew on. So that your set isn't so small that your camera no clips through part of the set. Well, there's a couple ways. So by default, if I make a cube, by default, this is the default cube size in Blender. So actually, these characters are less than 1 Blender unit, less than 1 meter in Blender, technically tall. But I don't really care about that as long as everything is relative. But you do run into some camera clipping issues if you... By default, the camera clipping's at 0.1, and I think you get some weird stuff on the rigs. I don't think I can go out far enough in this shot. But sometimes you'll have some weird clipping issues. I'll just exaggerate this for you guys for the sake of example. Is this working? Alright, this is not working as it should. Oh well. Well, basically, your clip start and your... Oh, wait, no, sorry. I'm... the clip end is probably the one that I need to be adjusting to show you guys. Okay, that's just not affecting my viewport. I don't know why. Let me jump out of the camera. Oh, it's because I was inside the camera. Okay. So, a big thing you can adjust whenever you're working with clipping stuff is this clip start and clip end right here. If you have a really, really, really small set, by default, the Blender clip start is 0.1. And you'll see I get some lines that disappear on the character rigs, and just some general goofiness when I go inside of stuff like this. I like to do my clip start at 0.01, which brings back a lot of those lines. Even when I have the camera inside of an object, it basically doesn't disappear. You can even bring this down to like 0.001, and you can see everything. The problem with 0.001 is that the clipping is so tight that you start to get a lot of Z fighting on the walls, which is where objects are so close together that they try to clip and their textures mess up. So I found that a happy middle ground for me is 0.01, where I still get to see all the character lines for the rig and whatnot. All this stuff isn't clipping. Same for the clip end. It starts at like 1,000. But we'll say, for instance, 10. I mean, there's no reason for this to ever clip, in my opinion. So I just set it to like a crazy high number, like 100,000. So when you're working with a really small set, the first place I would go to fix some issues is your clipping distance. Clip start, clip end. And when you're in the camera, I think it has it in the camera settings is where you're... Yep, okay, so this is the camera settings clipping. Or by default it's at 1,000. I need to crank this up to like 100,000. It's just a good practice, but whenever you're working with super small stuff, just crank down your clip distance and it should solve most of your problems. But if it's still having issues, take everything, scale it up, and it'll be fine. It's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Oh. So my internet's having some problems. Oh well, we'll keep going. Wait, what does this open widget mean? I'm still learning streaming. So, I'm encountering some of this stuff for the first time. So bear with me, everybody. Alright, going through more chat. How do you do large crowd scenes? A variety of ways. Primarily, there's a couple different ways to do it. You typically want to use a lighter rig for background stuff that isn't as expensive as this rig. And what I mean by expensive is it has a lot of features. You want something as bare bones as possible that uses as few drivers as possible on the rig. So I think we will have a simplified version of our rig sometime, but we'll animate like loops on a really low resource version of the rig, and then we'll just stick those in the background. But there's really no way around it other than doing some research on CrowdSim, which I think Amuletto's done some of that, and Michael's done some of that for their animations, but that's not something that I'm really experienced in. So, another example of something I'd get one of them to make a tutorial on for Squared Academy rather than me. All of our stories are made by us, and we also have a writing team, so we probably won't be taking any story submissions. Full course on Minecraft animation. Yes, I want to get to that sometime later this summer. When your camera tries to pan a shot, but it cuts part of the object into, like when you're doing this and then it cuts into that. At that point, you just have to plan your composition better. Like, I'm thinking about that as I'm designing the set, thinking, am I going to have enough space to put the camera back here to shoot all these characters, or am I going to run into a wall where I need to put the camera? So that's something that you got to think about with set design when you're in the set design process, and that's something that just takes time and experience. You just got to do it a bunch of times, and you got to get frustrated by it a bunch of times in order for you to figure it out. So, but yeah, it just takes practice. That's why I tell people just to do it. Get out there and do it. You know, you're not going to learn if you're not making animations. Are you going to make more streams like this? Absolutely. I actually wanted to start streaming a couple weeks ago, but I had various things come up. But today I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get in the suit. I'm gonna run my hair through some water to get it all cleaned up because I had some awful bed hair this morning. I'm going to throw on the suit. I'll get some lunch, throw on the suit, and we're just going to stream all afternoon. Just see where it takes us. But yeah, my next stream will probably be, I want to do later this week, maybe like a Thursday or a Friday, but we'll see. How many hours do I work a day? It varies incredibly heavily. Some days I'm at like 6 and I'm completely burned out. Other days I can go for like 12 and I'm like, I've still got it, we're going. And then people are like, Matt, take a break. And I'm like, okay. How do you make glowing textures without them kind of washed out? That's a compositing trick. That's something that I'll probably have to cover in a tutorial video because that's a little more involved. Because I'd want to explain how it works, and that takes a few minutes, but this is me working on Craft My Life right now. Here we go. Cool. Here we go. Songs of War Season 2. Oh, whoopsies. I had my stream audio on when I was checking it. Songs of War Season 2. All information about that can be found in the Future of Songs of War video on Squared Media. And I am going to get back to work. Everything I do is in Blender. I do not touch Minimator because it just doesn't have the features that Blender has. Blender can do so much more than Minimator. Minimator has come along a very long ways in the last few years, but Blender is still just objectively the better software.
He wants us to come find him. He's somewhere in the school. He wants us to come find him. He's somewhere in the school.
And this bit here, I had placeholder lines recorded. But it's gonna be... these three guys being like, I bet he's in the gym. No. The cafeteria. Oh,
What?
this.
What?
And then they all run off. But those are extra lines, so we don't have those recorded yet. Then I'll have Matt and Steve just kind of off to the side. Turn on the auto keyframe so I'm not pressing I every time. There.
What? Wait! You're not supposed to guess! It's a riddle! Ugh.
That was a really good line from her. And here I'm gonna have her, like, probably start out a little more forward. Might have the camera be a little more back like this, like she's chasing after them. But wait, it's a riddle, you're not supposed to...
What? Wait! You're not supposed to guess! It's a What? Wait! You're not supposed to...
We can cut to behind her.
What?
Oh. What the heck? Oh, whoopsies. I didn't have my camera selected.
What? Wait! You're not supposed to guess! It's a Wait! You're not supposed to guess! What?
So we can have her move forward. It is the weirdest thing, guys, hearing my stream audio coming on speakers from the room next door. Thanks, Sully. Oh.
What? Wait!
Okay, we'll have this be a little more urgency. So she'll start here, make this linear.
What?
She'll cover more ground.
You're not What? Wait! You're not supposed to guess! What? Wait! You're not supposed to guess! It's a What?
Why is she moving there?
What? Wait! You're not supposed
Oh, she snaps back.
You're not supposed to You're not supposed What? Wait! You're not supposed Wait! You're not supposed to guess!
So what'll be happening here is the students will be running by past her. And she'll be like running after them a
Wait,
little bit.
you're not-
Wait, you're not supposed to guess.
Not supposed to guess!
And she'll be like, you're not supposed to guess. What did it? Ugh. It's just getting all frustrated at them.
Supposed to guess! It's a Supposed to guess! It's
We can get a nice close-up of her. We can see her full body language on a close-up. Just make her be the star of the show.
supposed to guess! It's a riddle! Ugh. All right.
probably need to slow that down. I believe the hotkey for that is... okay. Yep. K is to split strips. And not the chicken kind. The video editor kind, that's what I meant.
All right, gang. It's a riddle. All
And here we probably just have a simple pan over.
right, gang.
Whoop, way too fast.
All right, gang. It looks like we've got a It looks like we've got a miss. It looks like we've got...
Yeah, I'll probably hold that shot. No reason to change it.
Looks like we've got a miss.
Actually, what we'll probably do is we'll probably do an overhead or over shoulder shot of Steve here. Maybe have Elena in it too. Some weird clipping stuff going on. See? And then whenever you have weird stuff like that happening, usually can be fixed by adjusting the clipping, the clip start.
We've got a mystery on our hands.
So, what do you guys think of animation layout? Fun, right? Very engaging.
Looks like we've got a... All right.
Now we're locked in. This is what me being locked in is like. It is possible. Whoop, wrong way.
Looks like we've got a mystery. It looks like we've... It looks like we've... It looks like we've got a... It looks like we've got a mystery on our hands.
We'll do that. And we'll cut back to the shot that we had before.
Here we go.
Maybe just have Steve here. No, probably just keep that same shot. This can always be changed later. This isn't final. I'm just trying to move through this.
Here we go.
A miss... A miss...
Here we go.
And this take place in the hallway. So they're going to progress from here to cut to the hallway, and Alex will have a full-on detective get-up on. So, full thing so far.
Hopefully Mr. Becker doesn't give us too much homework today.
Nah, he's not like that. He might give us a little, but nothing too crazy.
Speaking of Mr. Becker, where is he?
That's strange. Mr. Becker's never late.
What's this? Today, a special task I've prepared. Come and find me if you dare. Put your thinking to the test, and from your homework you shall rest. Here is your first hint of 3. I am Becker, and so is she. Seek her out where books are free. Find my other, and you'll find me. I think this is our assignment today. He wants us to come...
Oh, didn't have a keyframe. Make sure we have that keyframe. Oop, okay.
He wants us to come find him.
Same with her head. Gotta make sure that's keyframed, otherwise it'll slide. Slide to the left. Okay.
He's somewhere in the school.
Ah, I bet he's in the gym, library, whatever. Yeah, let's go find him.
Wait! You're not supposed to guess! It's a riddle! Ugh. All right, gang. It looks like we've got a mystery on our hands.
Here we go.
That comes out a little too fast. Maybe they all just kind of look at her for a second and then...
Here we go.
Our hands.
Here we go.
Hands.
Maybe just a little close up on Steve here. Maybe we just let that sit. Go boom. And then we go... Oh, you know what would be really good here? Is if, to communicate that they're going to the hall, she... no, I think a hard cut would actually just be better.
Hands.
Here we go.
Hands. Hands.
Hands. I think there's a couple ways I want to shoot this. I'll leave that for later though.
Here we go.
I don't think it's relevant to the layout. At least not this stage of the layout. And I can cut close to Steve. Or maybe we've got a mystery hands. Cuts back to the three of them.
Here we go.
Well, that line... Because a little remark like that would make more sense to me if it was said as Alex was walking away. That's my struggle right now, is she's just calling them out for, you're not supposed to leave, it's a riddle. Or no, oh, you're not supposed to guess, it's a riddle. But I guess the problem that she has is that they were guessing and they were running to those places that they were guessing. But when they're going outside into the hallway, she's actively trying to solve it and she's moving a lot slower. So it should be okay story-wise, and there shouldn't be any contradictions if she goes and walks out in this shot, and then it cuts to Steve, and then he's like, here we go, and then starts walking after her, and then it cuts to the hallway. I think that would be a cleaner presentation for this shot, for sure. And just, like, making sure that the ideas flow together. Yeah, I think that's how I'm going to do it. Cool. All right, well, I'm gonna check chat for a second here. So let's hear the whole audio clip. Okay, I'll let you guys hear it all the way through.
Hopefully Mr. Becker doesn't give us too much homework today.
Nah, he's not like that. He might give us a little, but nothing too crazy.
Speaking of Mr. Becker, where is he?
That's strange. Mr. Becker's never late.
What's this? Today, a special task I've prepared. Come and find me if you dare. Put your thinking to the test, and from your homework you shall rest. Here is your first hint of 3. I am Becker, and so is she. Seek her out where books are free. Find my other, and you'll find me. I think this is our assignment today. He wants us to come find him. He's somewhere in the school.
And their lines, I need to get them.
What? Wait! You're not supposed to guess! It's a riddle! All right, gang. It looks like we've got a mystery on our hands.
Here we go.
If you notice it's running at 15 FPS, I can fix that.
We've got a mystery.
Here we go.
Somewhat. Oh, I have the environment. Unhidden.
You're not supposed to... Our hands.
Now we're running at 25.
You're not supposed to guess!
Now it's a lot cleaner.
Riddle. A mystery on our hands.
Here we go.
A missing teacher, an ominous note left on the whiteboard, and not a single person willing to crack the code. My dear friends, our first stop shall be the library.
Why are you talking like that?
Why the library?
A simple deduction, my dear Steve. Seek her out where books are free. We are looking for someone with a clue in a place with lots of books.
I see. But, who are we looking for?
Were you seriously not paying attention? Ugh. Come on, guys. You're no fun. We are looking for a woman, and one who is also Becker according to the riddle. Brilliant, Elena! Of course, we must look for Mrs. Becker. What are y'all waiting for? Come on, Oh. I was just, making sure you were all paying attention.
Yeah, he's made it our assignment.
I think there's a couple lines I didn't include in there. There's a hallway. They're walking through the hallway. They're discussing where to go. Then they're going to be in the library.
Ugh. Come on, guys. You're no fun. We are looking for a...
And this will be the break where they start in the library.
We are looking for a woman, and one who is also Becker according to the riddle.
And that needs to have a break as well. What happens here is in the library, they finally get to the library.
We are looking for a woman.
And they'll be like checking out the books. Checking out the shelves. Alex will be like all around here. Like, we're looking for a woman. There's also Becker. She'll be like checking the books here. Mrs. Becker's just going to be like standing, just waiting patiently right here. Her name tag is going to be like on the desk. Elena's going to grab it. Bring it over to Alex. She's going to show it to Alex. And she's going to be like, oh, brilliant, Elena.
Brilliant, Elena! Of course, we must look for Mrs. Becker.
Of course, we must look for Mrs. Becker. And then Alex is going to be like, all right, riddle solved. She's going to start walking out the door. And everyone's going to be just looking at her like, what are you doing?
What are y'all waiting for? Come on, Oh.
Oop, wrong button. Just walk out. No one's going to follow her.
What are y'all waiting for? Come on, Oh.
And they're all just like standing there with Mrs. Becker.
I was just, making sure you were all paying attention.
Yeah, she's a little ADHD. That's going to be her big character thing. Is that she's just, she's a little special. Ooh, the suit gets hot. I don't know about you guys, but we're in this suit in this chair. I've even got a fan on me and it's still a little hot. How long have we been streaming for? Big stretch. We started at about 1:30. So, has it seriously been an hour and a half already? Wow, we're going longer than I thought. It's felt like it's been 30 minutes to me. But that's just how this stuff goes. I'm gonna take a little mental break here for a sec. Alright, now would be the time to ask any other questions in the chat, or just, if you want to ask me anything in particular. While I'm taking my business break. I almost nuked my whole scene there. Oh, excuse me. How are you guys doing this afternoon? What are you guys up to? What are you guys doing while you're watching me or listening to me stream? I'm curious. If you're tabbed out, tab back in right now. I want to know. Everyone except for Sully, because I can hear what you're doing outside. You're laughing at my stream? That's what you're doing outside. Wishing you had a second monitor. Playing Starfield. I've also seen very bad results from coffee plus ADHD. Learning's good. Learning how to code Minecraft mod is good. It means you're teaching yourself something. I am pretty impressed. We've maintained over 30 concurrent this entire time. We started off with like 61 was our peak. We got to 60 a couple times, and then over the last hour, we've dropped from like 60 to about 35. But that's still pretty good for the fact that I never stream. That's exciting. It means a lot of people are interested in learning how to do stuff or just listening to me yap all day, which both of those are absolutely fine. But, I mean, we made some decent progress already in just the last hour and a half. We went from 585, so that's about 40 seconds of layout. Well, layout, this is just like the layout of the layout, in my opinion. But it's the layout setting up the staging for the key poses. What time shall we end the stream? We'll say 3:30. You think 3:30 is a good time? I would go a lot longer, but I also don't want to... I'm noticing that I'm starting to get a little bit sweaty, and I don't want to get my suit stinky, so... I think 2 hours is a very solid first stream. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's a pretty comfortable amount. And yeah, we'll lock in for a little bit longer, and then we'll get the hallway stuff set up, maybe get to the library, and then I'll keep working on my own in a t-shirt and not a suit with a shirt under that and a shirt under that. $1:30 over here in Oregon. Wait, wouldn't it be 12:30 in Oregon? Because it's me minus 3. How long do you spend for, let's say, about 1 minute? Usually probably about... I mean, it depends very heavily. So when you're doing 1 minute of layout stuff, I think that it can take anywhere from 3 hours to 10 hours. I mean, it just depends on how complicated of a shot that you have. This is definitely a less complicated shot. So I would say that, I would say closer to like 3 to 5 hours for this one, for a minute. In this case, you saw me get about 40 seconds in an hour and a half. Probably take me another hour and a half to get the other 20, so yeah. Alrighty. Let's get back to it. Oop, add a little keyframe there by accident.
Oh.
A missing tons.
Here we go.
A missing teacher. Mrs. Becker!
I also think we need some more exciting music for this last part. I know just the solution. Alright, epidemic sound. We're gonna get some Edgar Hop going. We're gonna turn it up a little bit. We're gonna get motivated for this last 30 minutes. It's gonna be the most epic 30 minutes of layout ever.
We are looking for a woman, and one who is also...
So, not in line with what this show's vibe is.
We are looking for a woman, and one who...
I see. But,
Alright, gang. It looks like we've got a mystery on our hands.
Getting hyped for this final stretch. That is not the way her head needs to be spinning. The heck?
here we go.
Way too fast.
Here we go. Here we go.
Mystery on our hands.
Here we go.
can probably even be.
Here we go. Here.
So everyone will start following her. I know this song.
Here we go. Here we go.
Oh wait, that was the one. Oopsies, I deleted the wrong keyframe. Oh, okay, there we go. Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum bum.
Here we go.
Hands.
And these guys need to start following her. Epidemic does really actually have some pretty decent selection for epic stuff. Well, the Lena start first for two reasons. One, she's the closest to Alex, and two, she spreads back.
Here. Here. Here we
Rage, my soldiers!
Here we go. Here we go. Oh.
A missing
I'll move all these over some more. Move this one back a tiny bit. No! Come back this way. No! I wanted you. Stop! I told you to move. Oh, I was in the mode where I was constantly stretching it rather than grabbing it.
Here we go.
That was my fault.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
So for this, we'll probably slouch forward a little bit.
Here we go.
Maybe not that much. That's probably a good amount, actually. Everyone's coming back because of the epic music. Maybe I had to keep epic music on for the whole time. The stream viewership's been steadily going up.
Here. Here we go. Here. Here we go.
Again, this isn't the final poses that he'll actually be in. This is just getting an
Here we
idea
go.
for his body language, where he's like,
Here we go.
here we go. Where he's obviously not thrilled about going along with Alex's plan.
Here we go.
It is important to show him starting to move at the very end. Which won't move that much. Okay, so now, bum 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 bum. You guys will recognize this from the Technoblade animation.
Here we go.
A missing teeth.
This was the dream escape part that I did all the faces on.
Here we go. Here we go.
I'm talking about the music, not the
A
animation.
missing teeth.
Here we go.
Bum, bum, bum. Alright, now that feels a lot better paced. And honestly, I might let this shot sit a little bit longer. I'll just drag that out several seconds. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. And I'll just let the camera rest for a little bit.
Here we go.
Missing teeth. A missing teacher. A missing teeth. A missing teeth.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
A missing teacher assignment. What? Wait! You're not supposed to guess! It's a riddle! All right, gang. It looks like we've got a mystery on our hands.
Here we go.
Of course,
Got
she'll
a
be like
mystery
very
on our hands.
sprightly as she's walking off. And we'll probably have some music cues to fill in this area here, so it won't be so dull. Because right now it is fairly dull, where it's just like
A mystery on our hands.
kind of silent, walks off, other people walk off.
Here we go.
Here we go, walks off. And there's times like that too. And this goes into one of the, just another one of the million things that you have to consider when you're writing and producing a show. For the direction of it is, where is music going to come in and where are you going to let music shine? Because there's some times where animation can look really awkward or feel really empty. But if you're getting it scored, or if you have a music piece in mind to go along with it, which in this case, we're doing the layout, and then we're having it scored as I'm doing the main poses. And then, yeah, I just have to be thinking about where the music can come in and carry scenes and take more of a center stage if there's not much happening. Michael Kovac voiced me. I didn't voice myself.
That's
Speaking of Mr. Becker.
You're crazy.
Speaking of Mr. Becker.
I don't sound like that. Speaking of Mr. Becker, I don't have that kind of raspiness to my voice. It's like a clean raspiness. Michael Kovac just steals the show whenever he talks. This was the Walking Dead credits, I think. Yeah. Oh, is Jackson Trent in here? I have two voice actors from Songs of War. Carl G. Brooks, who is Mr. Becker, and Jackson Trent, who is the server operator. You will not see him, well, you will see him, you will not see him, or I should say hear him talk until episode 3 of Craft My Life. But he does play a very critical part in the story of Craft My Life.
mystery on our hands.
Here we go.
A missing teacher, an ominous note left on the white, an ominous...
Alright, now to get all of them in the hall. So where's the cut? Right there. 285. This is Animation Life now. No. Is this Animation Life? This is the Animation Life or... No, it's Skywars Mega! I think this one's Skywars Mega. It might have been reused in a couple animations. This is very 2016 BPS animation, or animation music though, from Epidemic. I'm just as much a fan as I am a creator for this channel. Yeah, because this is when Herobrine teleported in and stabbed Hypixel and, killed somebody, and then Derp and David had to fight him. Yeah, I think it was Animation Life too. Might have been Animation Life, the second one specifically, like Animation Life 2. Either that or when Null spawned in. I can't remember the specific moment, but this is just like, this is an iconic track. Very Avengers. With the horns in the background. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Alright. What did I say it was? I'm getting distracted. 2085. Alright, so we want a bunch of keyframes on you. This might be bad practice, but I'll be cleaning it up soon. It's okay. Now this shot coming up is one that I've had in mind for a very long time, a very specific way I want to do it. I know all these songs. I've gone looking on Epidemic for long enough. I think I know every Epic song on the site at this point. Alright, 286. So I had this vision of like Alex being real down low with a magnifying glass, walking through the hall.
A missing teacher, an ominous note left on the whiteboard.
And this being another shot, that's one of those like poster shots of a series. And we have Steve. Excuse me. Off to the side here. Looking all kind of like depressed. Like, I don't want to be here. Actually, he should probably be on the right, because we're gonna... I don't know. Because we're gonna look center and then you're gonna look left or right. So I think Matt should be... Steve should probably be in the very back because he's the last to leave and he's depressed. So Steve should be behind Alex. But visible enough to where he can be seen. This also means I probably need to shoot it from higher. Matt should probably be on her right as he was in the previous shot. And Elena on her left. don't know. I kind of like listening to the epic music while working on Craft My Life. Makes me feel like I'm doing something awesome. Maybe I should shift Alex a little bit so we can see all 4 of them. And instead have her, like, looking over this way. Steve a little further back so he takes up less of that space. Matt also can probably be further back.
A missing teacher, an ominous note left on the whiteboard, and not a single person willing. A missing teacher, an ominous note left on the whiteboard.
So I'm gonna do something fun here where she's gonna be like walking along.
A missing teacher, an ominous note left on the whiteboard, and not a single
And then she's gonna stop again here.
And not a single person willing to crack the code.
Where she's almost like getting full of herself, where she's like looking. She's like,
And not a single person willing to crack the code. My dear friends, our first stop shall be the library.
And then in this case, she's not even gonna face them. She's gonna be like, our first stop shall be the library. And then she'll just keep on walking.
Why are you talking like that?
Why the library?
A simple
Talking like that?
library.
Why are you talking?
And then we finally get to hear Elena speak. I forgot we gave her like no lines in the first minute there. And then it'll cut to the side with like all them walking, and then you'll hear, why are you talking like that?
Talking like that?
Why the library?
And then Steve,
A
why the
simple
library? As they continue to start walking. Then we'll cut forward. We'll just have some shots where they're just walking on
Deduction,
loops.
my dear Steve. Seek her out where books are free. You're looking for someone. Someone with a clue in a place with lots of books.
I see. But, who are we looking for?
Were you
And then here they'll stop entirely.
seriously not paying attention? Ugh. Come on, guys. You're no fun. Looking for a woman.
They'll probably stop outside the
Seriously not
library
paying
right
attention?
here.
Ugh. Come on, guys. You're no fun.
Because the library is just there. So they'll probably stop outside the library, we'll get a shot here, and then Steve will be
Were you
like,
seriously...
But, who are we looking for?
Were you seriously not paying attention? Ugh. Come on, guys. You're no fun.
and this is a set of lines that I'm considering cutting. This is something I need to talk with the writers about, which are Feather and Mark, which are both in call. It feels just a little, I don't know, I feel like we're making Steve a little too stupid.
I see. But, who are we looking for?
So you could just go with like, I see. And then cut to here.
Looking for a woman,
for a
and one who
woman.
is also
One who's
Becker,
also
according
Becker.
to...
I don't think we need that.
But,
Who are we looking for?
Were you-
That one was pretty cut and dry. Like, find my other and you'll find me. That's... I am Becker, so is she. It's almost a little too right on the nose for him to be like, who are we looking for again?
But, who are we looking for?
Were you seriously not paying attention? Ugh. Come on, guys. You're no fun.
But, who are we looking for?
Someone looking for some... You're looking for someone with a clue in a place with lots of books.
I see. But, who are we looking for?
Such where books are free. You're looking for someone. Someone with a clue in a place with lots of books.
I see.
Looking for a woman. One who is also Becker, according to the riddle. Free. A full deduction, my dear Steve. Where books are free. looking for someone. Someone with a clue in a place with lots of books.
I see. But, who are we looking for?
Yeah, something about that. Just, I need to do some thinking on that. I'll probably think on that when the stream ends. That's another thing when you're directing a show. Sometimes you have an idea and you write it, and then you just something doesn't feel right when you're pacing it out. Now, this was UHC Champions Part 1, which never got a Part 2. My memory when it comes to Epidemic songs used in Black Plasma or Squared Media animations is crazy. I was a mega fan before I was CEO. Alright, I think this will be a good place for me to probably think on that, because I need to do some thinking on that before I finish laying it out. So, yeah. Probably end the stream here. Thank you guys for coming and watching. I know it was a little bit clunky, but yeah, first stream, had some connection issues, got through those. Yeah, I'll definitely come more prepared next time. But I hope you guys learned something, enjoyed me yapping for a couple hours, and I certainly plan to do this again, hopefully later this week. If not later this week, then next week. Let me turn this down a little bit. It's a little loud. But yeah, this was a lot of fun, and yeah, if you guys liked it, just let me know in the comments on the video once it is posted as a VOD to YouTube, or if you're able to do that now. I don't know. I'm not really one for watching live streams myself, so I don't really know how they work. I should probably do that though, so that way I can get some ideas on how to do mine better. But yeah, just let me know in the comments if you liked it, what you liked, what you disliked. If you'd like to see anything more, if you'd prefer me just straight up working on stuff and not talking as much, if you enjoy the stories. Yeah, so just tell me what you like, what you didn't like. And yeah, I'm gonna get back to work on this off stream, and I'll be back in a few days. Talk to you guys.